The sex was so much better than the first time. Seeing this freaky side of Natalie took all my anxiety away. I had no problem throwing my hat on.
I just think you're just too beautiful and smart and successful to be with such a spineless loser like him. And I wish you saw that too.
Whoa.
Bella does not just dislike Gino, she rejects the entire idea of him standing next to Natalie again. And that is why this moment feels so much bigger than a daughter being protective. Because when Bella looks at this relationship, she is not seeing a romantic comeback, she is seeing the possibility of her mother walking back into the same kind of pain that already left a mark. And the brutal part is that Natalie may be hearing this from the one person whose judgment she cannot easily dismiss. Gino may believe that the weekend has been moving in a better direction. Natalie may feel that something between them has softened, and maybe privately there have been signs that he is trying harder this time, but Bella is not living inside that hope with them. Bella is standing outside it with a much colder view, watching her mother give grace to a man she does not trust, and that instantly turns the whole story from a couple trying again into a family alarm going off in real time. What makes Bella's reaction so uncomfortable is that she is not speaking like someone who is mildly annoyed or simply hard to impress. She is speaking like someone who has already made up her mind because she feels the evidence has been sitting in front of everyone for too long. And whether viewers agree with her tone or not, the weight behind it is obvious. Because Bella is not trying to help Gino feel welcome, she is not trying to keep things polite, and she is not trying to pretend that one better weekend cancels out everything that came before. That is the problem Gino is facing now. Because winning Natalie back is one thing, but winning over the person who believes Natalie is embarrassing herself by even entertaining him is an entirely different battle, and honestly, this is where reality TV does what reality TV always does. It takes one fragile emotional repair job and throws it straight into the family group chat from hell. Natalie's position is complicated because she is not just choosing between a man and a daughter in some simple dramatic way, she is being forced to look at two versions of the same relationship. The version she feels when Gino is with her and seems softer, more present, maybe more willing to try, and the version Bella remembers, where Gino is connected to pain, public embarrassment, and a pattern Natalie's family does not want to watch repeat. That is why Bella's rejection lands so hard, because she is not asking whether Gino can be charming for a day, she is questioning whether Natalie can trust herself when her heart starts making excuses. And that question is far more dangerous than any single insult. The real tension here is not just whether Bella is being too harsh, it is whether Bella is seeing something Natalie is not ready to admit yet. Because if Gino has truly changed, then Bella's refusal could become the obstacle that keeps Natalie from moving forward. But if Bella is right, then her anger may be the only thing standing between Natalie and another painful cycle. And that is where this story becomes uncomfortable to watch, because Natalie wants to believe this second chance can mean something, Gino wants to believe his recent efforts should count, but Bella is making it clear that family memory does not reset just because the couple had one better stretch. And before Natalie can even decide what this relationship is becoming, Bella has already forced the question that could break the whole thing open. Can Natalie keep choosing Gino if the daughter who knows her best refuses to accept him at all? After Bella's rejection lands, the story has to pull back. Because the painful part is not that the weekend went wrong out of nowhere, it is that this weekend was supposed to be the proof that things were finally moving in a better direction. And that is what makes the whole situation feel so fragile. Because Natalie did not bring Gino around her family just for a casual visit or an easy little outing. She brought him into a space where he would have to stand in front of the people who remember what happened before and somehow convince them that this time is different. For Natalie, the private side of the relationship may have started to feel less broken, and after a night where she and Gino seemed more connected, there is a small sense that maybe the awkwardness, the hesitation, and the emotional distance between them are starting to shift. But the problem is that romantic progress inside a hotel room does not automatically translate into family trust outside of it. Because families do not usually judge based on one improved moment, they judge based on the memory of what they watched someone survive, and Natalie's family has not forgotten that Gino already hurt her once in a way that made them question whether he should be anywhere near her heart again. That is why Nick's presence matters more than it first appears. Because Nick is not walking in ready to attack Gino, he is calm enough, friendly enough, and willing enough to sit there and let the day happen. But even that politeness has limits, because behind the calm reaction is the memory of Natalie calling, crying, and dealing with the emotional fallout from the first time this relationship collapsed. Nick may not be shutting the door immediately, but he is also not pretending that Gino is just some new man being introduced with a clean slate, and that puts Gino in a much harder position than he seems to fully understand, because he is not being judged only for how he behaves today. He is being judged against the version of himself this family already knows. Gino seems to want the family meeting to function like a fresh start, almost as if showing up, smiling, participating, and trying to be present should earn him some credit. And maybe that would work if the damage were smaller, but Bella and Nick are not treating this as a cute second chance. Weekend, they are treating it like a risk assessment around someone they care about. That emotional mismatch is the real engine here, because Gino is trying to prove growth, Natalie is trying to prove hope, Nick is cautiously watching for signs, and Bella is already somewhere outside the room refusing to participate in the performance. So even while the day still looks like it can be saved, the tension is already sitting underneath everything, because the one person Natalie most needs to reach is not warming up slowly, she is not arriving late with an open mind, she is staying away. And that absence changes the entire meaning of the weekend before anyone says the harshest words out loud. Bella not showing up is the moment the whole day starts to feel different, because at first it can be explained away as lateness, distance, mood, maybe even a daughter needing space. But the longer she stays missing, the more obvious it becomes that her absence is not just an empty seat, it is a message. And somehow, the person who is not even in the room begins controlling the entire story. Gino, Natalie, and Nick keep moving through the outing, and on the surface, things still look manageable, because there is a planned event, there is a public setting, there is enough energy around them to pretend this is still just a family day with a little awkwardness attached, but underneath that, everything is getting tighter, because Bella was not some random extra guest. Bella was the person Natalie needed there most, and the fact that she planned the outing but still refused to appear makes the silence feel intentional. That is what makes this setup so uncomfortable, because Gino is trying to enjoy himself, Natalie is trying to keep the day from collapsing, and Nick is standing in the middle with the kind of calm expression people use when they already know more than they are saying. The fun setting almost makes the tension worse, because while Gino is reacting to the entertainment and trying to live inside the lighter part of the day, Natalie is dealing with the heavier reality that her daughter is not simply late, she is rejecting the entire situation from a distance. And then the real shift happens when Bella does not text Natalie, she texts Nick, which may seem like a small detail until you actually think about what it means, because if Bella wanted to soften the situation, she could have reached out to her mom directly, but instead, she sends the truth, through someone else, almost like she does not want to argue, does not want to negotiate, and does not want to be pulled into a scene where her mother might ask her to give Gino one more chance. That message turns everything clear. Bella does not like Gino, Bella does not trust Gino, and Bella does not believe he can make Natalie happy. There is no blurry middle ground there, no polite family discomfort, no quiet hesitation that Gino can charm his way through later. Bella is drawing a hard line, and now the question becomes whether she is being protective, whether she is punishing Natalie for ignoring past warnings, or whether she is simply refusing to participate in something she believes will hurt her mother again. And this is where viewers can split, because one side will say, Bella is doing what a daughter does when she has watched too much disappointment, while another side will say Natalie is grown and cannot let her child decide her romantic future like a committee meeting from emotional court. But even that debate does not erase the central problem, because Gino's second chance is now being judged by someone who does not care how sweet he acts today if she remembers what happened before, and Natalie is caught between the man she wants to believe in and the daughter who seems to see belief itself as the danger. The worst part for Gino is that Bella's absence may hurt more than a direct argument, because she is not giving him a real opening to defend himself, explain himself, or prove himself in person. She is controlling the story by refusing to enter it. And before anyone can recover from that text, the situation is already moving towards something even harder, because Bella is about to speak directly to Natalie, and once she does, there will be no room left for anyone to pretend this is just a misunderstanding. When Bella finally speaks directly to Natalie, the whole situation stops feeling like a delayed family outing and starts feeling like a judgment Natalie cannot ignore, because Bella is no longer missing from the day, no longer speaking through Nick, no longer letting silence carry the message. She is saying exactly what she believes. And what she believes is that Gino is not the man Natalie should be standing beside. That is what makes the call hit so hard, because Bella does not soften the rejection to protect Gino's feelings, and she does not dress it up like polite concern just to keep the moment comfortable. She tells Natalie that Natalie is smart, beautiful, successful, and worth more than this, which means the insult is not only aimed at Gino, it is aimed at the choice Natalie is making by giving him access again. And the brutal part is that Gino can hear it. He is not outside the emotional blast zone. He is sitting close enough to understand that Bella's problem with him is not small, not temporary, and not the kind of thing he can fix with one good afternoon or a nervous promise about being different now. For Gino, this is the moment where the weekend changes shape completely, because until now, he may have believed that if Natalie felt better with him, then the relationship still had room to move forward, but Bella's voice cuts through that hope and reminds everyone that Natalie's feelings are not the only feelings that matter anymore. Family memory has walked into the room, and because humanity apparently needed another way to make romance more complicated, it arrives through the one person Natalie may feel most responsible to protect. Natalie's reaction is what makes the power shift so clear, because she does not shut Bella down, she does not fully defend Gino, and she does not stay planted beside him to prove the relationship is stronger than her daughter's concern. Instead, she starts packing, and that one choice says more than any dramatic speech could say. Because Natalie may still care about Gino, she may still feel something real with him, and she may still want to believe the second chance has meaning. But when Bella's pain becomes direct and unavoidable, Natalie moves toward Bella. That does not mean the relationship is officially over in that second, but it does reveal the order of emotional priority, and Gino is no longer the center of the room. This is where the story becomes more painful than a simple breakup threat, because Natalie is not just choosing between staying at a hotel and visiting her daughter, she is choosing which emotional bond gets immediate protection. Gino may have made progress privately, but Bella has the stronger claim because Bella represents history, loyalty, and the part of Natalie's life that cannot be treated like a weekend experiment. And now, the question is sharper than before, because maybe Bella's warning changed Natalie's mind, or maybe it only forced Natalie to face the fear she already had underneath all the hope, that Gino can make her feel wanted in one moment and still leave her defending a relationship her own daughter sees as a mistake. So Gino is left alone, and that image matters, because it is not just a man sitting in a hotel room after an uncomfortable phone call, it is the visual proof that romantic access is not the same thing as trust, and for all the effort he may want credit for, he has now run into the one judgment. Natalie may not be willing to fight. The real test is no longer whether Gino can make Natalie laugh, relax, or believe in him for one weekend. It is whether he can survive Bella's refusal. Because if Natalie's daughter remains convinced that this relationship lowers Natalie instead of lifting her, then Gino's second chance may already be standing on ground that is starting to crack. By the time Gino is sitting there alone, the story is not really about one phone call anymore, because the whole weekend has exposed the part of this relationship that private chemistry cannot fix. And that is the fact that Natalie may still have feelings for Gino, Gino may still believe he has changed, and there may even be moments where they seem lighter together. But none of that matters in the same way once Bella makes it clear that she does not trust him near her mother's future. That is the real shape of the conflict now, because Gino came into this weekend needing to prove that the second chance was different. Natalie came in wanting her family to see something worth accepting. Nick gave the situation just enough space to breathe, but Bella refused to play along. And her refusal became stronger than every sweet moment Gino and Natalie may have had before it. She did not just dislike Gino as a person, she rejected what he represented. And for Natalie, that is where hope starts carrying a cost, because if she keeps moving toward Gino, she may be asking Bella to stand quietly beside a relationship Bella believes has already hurt her mother once before. And this is where the answer becomes uncomfortable but clear, because yes, Natalie can technically keep choosing Gino even if Bella never accepts him. She is an adult, she can make her own decisions, and Bella cannot control every part of her mother's romantic life, but emotionally, that choice does not land cleanly when the daughter who knows her, loves her, and has watched her history with men is saying that this does not feel safe, respectful, or wise. That does not make Bella automatically right about every detail, and it does not mean Gino is incapable of growth, but it does mean the relationship cannot pretend to be stable when the person Natalie seems most afraid to disappoint is already standing firmly against it. The clearest way to read this is that Gino represents the promise that maybe this time can be different, Natalie represents the hope that love can restart without dragging the past behind it, and Bella represents memory, the kind that does not disappear just because two people had a better night or because someone suddenly wants credit for trying harder. That memory is powerful because it does not care about romantic timing, it does not care that Gino feels worried now, and it does not care that Natalie may want peace. It only asks one thing. What happens if this becomes another pattern and Bella has to watch her mother explain it away again? That is why Natalie leaving the hotel matters more than anything she could have said in that moment. Because she does not have to announce a breakup for the audience to understand the shift, she only has to walk toward Bella when Bella's pain becomes too direct to ignore. Gino may still have a place in Natalie's heart, but Bella has access to the part of Natalie that feels responsible, protective, and maybe even a little afraid that her daughter sees the truth before she does. So the ending is not clean, and it should not be treated like one, because Gino is not fully out, Natalie is not fully done, and Bella has not solved the situation just by rejecting him, but the balance has changed. If Gino wants a real second chance, it cannot be built on one improved weekend, one emotional reset, or one private connection that looks better when the family is not watching. He would need consistency long enough for Bella to believe that her mother is not walking back into humiliation, Natalie would need to prove this is not another cycle, dressed up as hope, and Bella would need more than words before she lowers the wall. That is the final truth of this storyline, because Bella may not control Natalie's choice, but she has forced Natalie to face the price of it, and sometimes the hardest relationship test is not whether two people still want each other, it is whether the people who love them can watch it happen without bracing for the damage.